Welcome all to episode 9 of the 2B podcast. I'm your host, Kyle, Mr. Neil Current, and I am joined by a good brother of mine, Mr. Brodie Klotz. How are you, brother?
I'm amazing, brother. Thank you so much.
Awesome, awesome. So for those that may be listening, watching, where do we connected? Ripple effect, yeah?
Mm,
Yeah, we sort
yeah.
of just bumped into paths then, and it's been a sort of journey ever since. And sort of you got your own little stuff going on in your own world. So, I mean, we'll kick it off. Like, how are you, man? What's been going on in your world at the moment?
Mm. No, thank you, brother. And it's nice to go back memory lane. I've been watching your stories and journeys, so it's really nice to connect and weave into different communities. So, yeah, like November, I'm here based in Brisbane, and this year's been an amazing process of surrendering, asking for what you want, and asking for support. So I recently moved to Brisbane in May, sold our first home on the Gold Coast. I lost my job in sales. I moved out of support work and I was lost, brother. I was lost. I was lost figuring out. I moved from disability support to work in fundraising and sales, and I didn't make quota and didn't get the hours. And then my wife got sick, and then we had to sell the house. We had to sell the house, and we had to ask for support. What that looked like was people looking after my dog, people putting food in our table because money wasn't coming in. Had to go to Centrelink food vouchers. Some of you might not know, but I used to work for Centrelink and help people, and still do help people get the right resources. So from where I was this year of being in hospital with my wife, supporting her, doing all the manly things, the getting shit done, it was such a big thing for me, bro, because I hid that part of me for such a long time of getting everything organized. I was just like, my wife is very organized. And when she went down, I was like, fuck, okay. I realized how much she did when when she wasn't there. So um it's been a whole process, and it's nice to dive a little deeper into it. But like right now, from you know, on the verge of couldn't put food on the table, to settling to homelessness, to I wouldn't say we're in the close of bankruptcy, but we were like, if we didn't sell the house, we would be in a really tough position, to now in a comfortable position in Brisbane, debt free. We've moved all the things. I'm a beautiful area manager for a beautiful company here on the Gold Coast, Brisbane. Still running my coaching business, and I'm the happiest, healthiest, wealthiest I've been. It's not even about the money in the bank account. I'm generally have got a better relationship with money because of the surrendering of asking for help and going from homeowner to rental as well. I can talk a little bit deeper if the men or community need it, but yeah, it was a big thing, bro, for me to get away from that stigma, because there's a big stigma of like what is wealth and what is success. And
Yeah.
for me, bro, and as you know with your journey, like health's everything.
Oh
Health is
yeah,
everything.
100%. Yeah. That's definitely the forefront of like success and wealth. Like, what is it like at the end of the day? It's this thing. Success is have all the girls, the women, the cars, the money, but at the end of the day, everyone's got their own definition of success. And I, I've, I had that vision for myself, and yeah, obviously there's still a part of me that wants that, but at the same time, success for me is where the heart is. Wherever
Mm-hmm.
the heart goes, success will come. And I obviously, by the sound of like, I want to go back because this is something that you're going through at the moment in your life, but this podcast it's all about like sharing people's different stories of where they've come from and where they are now. So if you just want to briefly like this, I'm assuming this wasn't all that's happened for you in your lifetime. So where did your self-development, spiritual healing, whatever you want to call it, journey start? Like what's if you want to share some light on that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, be honored, brother. So my biggest self-development healing journey was when I tried to take my life in May, June. It was August 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the mental health ward in Brisbane. I drive past it actually quite a bit, and I've taken my clients there. So it's a really healing process for me. And what changed the game for me was I was obviously on medication. I had all these diagnoses and these disabilities that these doctors prescribe. But what I truly believe was I was just lacking purpose, lacking fulfillment, and I was hanging with the wrong crowd. I was eating the wrong things. My values wasn't aligned with what I was actually saying, offline and online. So I saw nurses get punched. I saw people doing drugs. I saw people very unwell. And I spent nearly 9 years working in the healing space, the mental health community sector. And it was the kick in the ass that I needed to realize that I've got so many people around me, and I needed to go to this place for 7 days voluntary after the suicide attempt to realize what the fuck I'm doing. It was the biggest wake up call for me. And I say, what the fuck am I doing, is because for me, I tried everything, bro. I tried the psychologist, the psychiatrist, and there's nothing wrong with psychologists, psychiatrists. I had a massive anger towards them, but I realized, everyone's journey is different. So for me, talk therapy was good, but what I found with my spiritual journey was men's work. So I met some incredible mentors. I went to men's circles, men's retreats, participant, and then I trained myself to become a facilitator, in different areas of the men's workspace. And I think the biggest thing for me was seeing men around me going through similar struggles, and week in, week out, they would bring something else new, and then there would be a process, and it wouldn't be, oh, you're fucked, or, you need fixing. It was like, there was people that I looked up to on Instagram, bro, that was going there, they were making it, in my eyes, to then, obviously I'm not going to tell their names of confidentiality, but it was like, it was the biggest hit in the cut, going, hey, like, in the heart, that people are still human. People still need support. So I grew up with my family of parents' divorce, and we didn't really talk about mental health or suicide, and diagnosed at ADHD at age 7 and told I was retarded, dumb, not going to go anywhere. And it really empowered me to become a support worker and help people with similar conditions like myself. And then lost friends to suicide, and I'm still experiencing a lot of friends going through mental battles. And I became a crisis counselor with Lifeline, so SES, and I gave time to domestic violence and sexual assault programs, because everything that I went through, I needed to find a place for it. And I didn't want to go like, oh, this is just my life, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to do something about it. So that's what I did. And it turned into a business. It turned into part of my purpose, part of my mission every day, is to share my stories, to be a person that shares his story and helps others. And it doesn't have to be too much more than that. It's just, I've been through things, so as men, and they come to me, and I just listen to them. And it's nice to know when someone has gone through something similar, and you can resonate as well.
Yeah, 100%. And it's thanks again for sharing. Like, it's one of those things where sharing stories is very important, but also at the same time, you don't want to be caught up in the story all the time. Like, it's kind of like sharing, definitely sharing your story. That's why I feel this is my own belief system. Like, sharing the story is really good, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you're not caught up in the story all the time. And I know this is something that I want people to know, that we can share our stories at the same time. It's that recycle, right? It's that cycle that keeps repeating itself. And for you to actually share your story, it's very empowering for me to hear that. And I know that you've been through a lot of challenges in your life, and definitely in the disability sector, it's something I deal with. But what would you say the one thing that you allowed yourself to, I guess, get out of that space? Like, how did you shift from that to where you are now?
Yeah, no, I love that. And I definitely want to touch base into that, creator story, past and future, because I think that's something that's really big
Yeah,
for a lot of people.
yeah, it's past. It's past, present, and future. Like if you're living in the past, you're living in the future. But actually, if you're living in either, I had this conversation with a friend of mine last night.
Mm.
It's You're not actually being present in the moment.
Yeah,
Too much
mate,
focus
this
on
is
your
so cool.
past, or you're too much focused on your future. So you got to be actually focused on the present moment. Because if you think about that, well, that means you're not actually present.
No, that's powerful. I'm glad we brought that up because I'm currently reading Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle again. So, um, but basically, when I share my story of like self-harm to suicide to disability to mental health, all these things, right? I'm not that. That's just what
Yeah,
happened to me.
exactly. Yeah.
And yes, I make it a business, but it's like for me, I'll be honest, straight up with you, and whoever listens to this, I hope this serves you, and I hope this like you bring this to your heart. Like I got so in my head and my story that I had to share everything, and it was actually trauma bonding. It was
Yeah,
trauma
100%.
bonding into
Yeah.
my friends. It was
Yeah.
trauma bonding to my wife. I made a business out of it, and I was actually quite ill. And some people say, Brodie, like this has got to stop.
Mm.
And it only happened not so long ago. Like what are we in 2023? Even though we know time's not real, but I'm going to break that one down in a later episode for sure. But no, in all honesty, I think 2021 was like a time where I just pivoted. But to be honest, bro, like where I've really integrated, it wasn't NLP, it wasn't men's work, it wasn't rites of passage. It was when everything was connected to my wife, all the wires and all the stuff. And she was having seizures and she was holding my hand and her face was numb to the side. She couldn't talk. She was crying. And I looked at her and I just said, I've got you. Like, I've got you. I'm not worried about my clients, I'm worried about Instagram, the likes, checking in, all this other bullshit that I was consumed by, all the debt, all these stories, everybody else. Everyone's like, bro, you're amazing. I'm like, I don't care right now. My wife is here. And it took me a while, bro, to realize that I was really out of alignment with where I was heading.
Yeah.
And the universe actually fucking smashed me. They were like, all right, Brodie, we've had enough. You bought a house on the Gold Coast. Steph didn't want it. You're in a career path that you're not enjoying. So the reason why Steph's thriving now in her studies and in my management position and in how I'm sharing right now is because to move to Brisbane, we had to go through everything in that Gold Coast position to where I am now. And I love that. So for me, what really changed was I was very conscious with my environment. So I changed my environment from Gold Coast to Brisbane, and that was really beautiful. As much as I love the Gold Coast community and friends, I had to be on my own 2 feet. I realized that I was depending on too many circles and communities, and I forgot, the silence of Brodie's like breath and intention. So that was really nice to build back up. And yeah, it was the biggest realization of stepping into leadership, bro. Like I've done management positions before, but what's really shifted is having men and managers and brothers in your life that give you radical responsibility and say like, hey, you signed up for this. This is what you want. Why are you not doing it? In a really loving way. So I used to think masculine men was very toxic and tattoos and muscly and vindictive because that was what was shown to me in abusive ways. So now that I see men that are muscly and tattoos and direct with brevity, I see that as fucking powerful now. So what shifted from that little boy of like, oh my God, like, like, and now I'm like, okay, cool. I can take responsibility in this as comfortable as it is. I can choose to be in any state at any moment in my life. And I think knowing that there's a time to process your emotions, there's a time to ask for help. There's also time to realize that what do you actually want to do? And for such a long time, brother, I was just helping other people get successful, helping other people get well. And I really forgot about me for a long time until I just started looking, going, hang on, what if I turn this around and actually shared my story on a global platform in a really positive way? Cool, I went to mental health ward, but now look at me. This is what I did to get out of that. Instead of going, yeah, I was in a mental health ward and life's really shit. Like, so for me, like I say this and and if people get triggered, like I get that, but my attention is if you grew up in a domestic violence home and drugs and alcohol, your sister can do amazing things and your brother might follow the drug and alcohol. Why I say that is it's the choice of what that brother or sister does. And I've seen it time and time again with my clients, personally, professionally. And I'm just putting out there, tough love is that like, it's time to stop blaming your parents, because Kyle, I blame my dad. You saw it on the event with Cody. I blame my dad, and my dad gave me the best recipe for men's work. So, you know, it's time that we love our parents. We love our teachers, the cheaters, wherever we've been hurt. They've given us a reason to be who we are today.
Yeah, it's all happened in sequences, and it's like being able to recognize that and being able to forgive that and being able to understand that our parents are only parents because they only know what they know. They don't know any better, and they're teaching us lessons. And it's fascinating you say that, because I remember when I got that holographics done on me the first time, my father, like I thought my father, I'm the oldest of five, so my father actually he didn't get to, so quick just a quick short story, but my father actually lost his brother at an asthma attack at the young age of, I think he was 16 or 14. So he was teaching me the lesson of actually becoming the brother that he never had to my other siblings. And he sacrificed a lot of his own life to raise us as kids, to raise us. So that was really, and I can see the resemblance in all of he's done in his life. So it's like actually loving him for who he is and loving him afar, as much as I want to love them closely, but loving him from afar. And it's just having that recognition, like everything you've done all the way up to that point has been for a reason. And life is always happening through us. However we're feeling internally is what we're going to project externally.
Well said, brother. Thank you for sharing that. It's so powerful.
And what do you do? So you mentioned about coaching. You're obviously coaching men, you're doing men's work, but what else is new? Like what else are you doing that's new to your world?
So I have gone, what are we in November? So yeah, I started with a company in May, a disability organization called Heart Led Support. I got back into support work. And then after the Gathering of Men, I've been offered an area manager position. So that's been really exciting, brother. I've been looking after the north side all the way up to Sunshine Coast. So that's like my full-time gig throughout the Monday to Friday. And yeah, I've got my fortnightly men's circle that I started to run in January this year, and I do that every fortnight. So I'm really got Kyle coming on actually this month. Gonna follow up with that, and yeah, it's really exciting. And for me, bro, like I want to chat into this after I've tell what I'm up to. And I've noticed even when I speak, I'm like, this is not a sales pitch. I'm just explaining what I'm doing. But yeah, so takes a lot of time. So it's once a fortnight, and then yeah, I'm very selective who I work with, purely for time and energy and getting the results. And I'm still redefining what I want to do, if it's online or face to face. And I've just linked up probably 2 months ago. I've used to have panic attacks in the past. I haven't had one for quite a while. And one of my brothers, Jacques, who was talked about, has helped me through a lot of things last couple of years, and I've loved oils. So just burnt myself. That was nice. I love essential oils, and I use it as a weight loss, as calming to sleep, and then my goal in the near future is build residual income with it. Well, not in the future, like is now. So the linking up between a full-time job, like hauling buckets for time, I'm aware of that, and doing like mental health recovery stuff with Heartlet, and then my men's coaching, doTERRA. That's what that is. But like on a Monday to Friday, like, I'm really focusing on my health. I've lost a lot of weight. I'm feeling really good. I go to the gym consistently where I live, and I'm just building more self-love without accomplishments. I've tied up a lot of my how much I earn and where I live and what I do. And to be honest, what I've been up to, bro, is just a lot of less time on social media, which has been a huge edge for me, because that validation, that dopamine for such a long time was, yeah, it was like I copped out of like, yeah, it's my business. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool, it's your business, but like, you don't have to be in your business all the time. Like there's things that are in your life is struggling, and I wasn't aware of it. So yeah, man, I'm just really wanting to connect with brothers just like yourself and other men and just get out to nature. I work from home. I travel to Bribie Island, to Sunshine Coast, to Redcliffe, all the places. And I love making participants' dreams a reality. And I love that. So yeah, I'm in a place where a lot of people are asking me like, oh, do you want to be coaching full time, or when's your next workshop? Or, no one's actually fucking asked me, am I happy? And I am happy. I'm generally really happy, in a really good space. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. And I know how, like, and I just want to do a massive shout out for you, man. I've since seen you and how you show up, and especially after Cody's event, maybe you've been showing up a lot, maybe just haven't seen the algorithms, but how you're showing up, it really inspires me. And I feel with my time, I have struggled to share, what I want to do on social media. And, that brings me a lot of sadness as well, because, there's a lot of men out there that I want to help. There's a lot of men that were like me, and it's, yeah, it's a struggle for me to do it all. But I've realized I've had a lot of men come to me and go, what if we just focus on one thing 100%? And then once you feel good, go to the next thing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you're right. And I hate you.
Yeah. You've got to, I mean, before we can help anyone, like I said, I was saying, we've got to fill our own cup up first. You've got to be happy with what you do. I mean, there's so many people we can help, but at the same time, unless they actually want the support, so I mean, it's different. And I know for me, that happened during my start of my journey. I wanted to help everyone, but now I'm just like, all right, I'll just do my thing, and if people want to come to me, they come to me.
It's
So,
powerful.
so it's definitely and that's the manifestor in me. So, which is quite powerful to understand a bit more, and especially the happiness part. Like I've let go of a lot of things these last several months, and it's now just focusing on the rebuilding phase again, to keep up with it. So I want to people can find you. Where can they find you on your socials, on and LinkedIn, or whereabouts can they find you? What's the
My playground is Instagram. So it's just my name. So Brodie.wellnessguy, BRODIE.wellnessguy. Drop me a follow, I'll follow you back. And yeah, my DM's always open. I mean that. It's only me running the account. And yeah, you generally get a voice note when I am on there. LinkedIn, I'm starting to get a bit more professional in that space. So probably look at my Instagram more than my LinkedIn. But yeah, that's where I hang out. I've also got a website as well. It's called AE Life Coaching. So anything and everything life coaching .com.au. So it's really cool. I've got some resources up there. I've got some testimonials, kind of what I do and how I help. And yeah, I think I really resonated with what Kyle said, was like, I'm a men's coach. I was a trauma recovery coach. I'm a mental coach. I think if there's anyone that wants to be an entrepreneur or wants to build residual income, is, your lived experience is your superpower. Like what you're going through is like, is definitely worthwhile. So I guess I really want to share this to the men and women, or any gender that you identify, is that there is so much resources out there. I wish I got taught the books, the podcasts, the self-development. And I think for me, if I did it differently, I would have like gone overseas, or even going around Australia, around some really cool organizations and do perspective. It's not like going to these poverty-stricken places. That's okay to do that as well, but it's like, it's also important to go solo traveling. I got married quite young. I got, Um, oh, I'm so grateful for it, but I also know that you don't have to do all these courses to find yourself. You can actually find yourself to do traveling, to move out of home on your own, because those experiences, I don't think a lot of people talk about that a lot. What I've noticed. So I think personal development is personal for you. So you can develop in your own space and your own time. But yeah, if you are struggling with anything, I know the help services get a really bad stigma, but everything's 13, 11, 14. Like Lifeline can't answer always your calls. I think it's time to answer your call and ask yourself, like, why am I here? Who am I? And you'll probably get a better answer than waiting on a phone for 40 minutes. There's a lot of brothers and sisters out there to support you, but it comes to the point where you're the only person that can help you. And I think the biggest realization is figuring out, when you're born, when you die. But I think the middle bit's really important, is like, why are you here? So I think it's important, men and women, to realize that, to journal on that on a daily thing, is why are you actually here? And then you can choose your life around that question. Can change too.
Yeah. So it was quickly like, why are you here?
I open up myself for that one. Aha. Awesome, bro. Love this. Been a blast. Why am I here? Is to experience ecstasy of joy, to create a family, to experience life, and live my purpose every day. And my purpose is to be joy, to be happy, to be love, and to come from a heart-centered place. And I used to label myself as, oh, you're feminine, or you wear this much, or you wear this much, you don't do this, you need to step into this. Just be Brodie, just be me. And as uncomfortable that can be sometimes, living in my own body and rah, it's important to know that, yeah, like, just want to live. I just want to give back. And like, why am I here is to go to schools and talk about lived experience with disabilities and mental health. Why am I here? To go to the mental health hospital where I tried to end my life and talk about, hey, like, there is another way besides, medication and drugs and alcohol. So I know it's a massive mission. I know I'm not alone, but I think it's just me being consistent, me actually doing the things of breath work, morning routine, evening routine, sharing my story, being authentic, and asking for help. And if I can do those things, then I can help other people. But if I'm coming from a place of rescuing, that's a dangerous thing as well. So for me, why am I here is, yes, to share my story, yes, to empower people, but just to have fun too. I actually sometimes forget to have fun. So that's why I'm here, to have a lot of fucking fun and have a lot of belly laughs and make mistakes and do it all over again.
Life's all about enjoying it, live, laugh, and love.
As
Mm.
cliche as that is, I love it.
Yeah. Well, thank you
And we
again.
can laugh at that too.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can. Yeah, we can. Awesome, mate. Well, thank you again for jumping on. I appreciate you sharing, and looking forward to connecting even further in your men's circle. And for those that are listening, watching, if you want to subscribe, put key takeaways at the bottom, like, share, comment, whatever you want to do. Doesn't trigger. If it triggers me, well, then it triggers me. Doesn't trigger me, well, then it doesn't. So just please
Always
like.
welcome.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate coming on.
Thanks, God. The whole brothers and
Hope.
sisters.